Imagine waking up to the roar of bulldozers tearing through your grandfather's cornfield, only to find out some HOA busybody has rezoned your land into her personal luxury playground without a whisper of warning. That's how my nightmare started. Folks, me, Dalton Hayes, a simple farmer in the heart of suburban America, staring down a pastel nightmare named Heather Bramble who thought her clipboard gave her divine right over my dirt. But oh, the sweet irony when her empire of fake deeds and forged signatures crumbled under the weight of her own arrogance, turning her from queen bee to federal fugitive in one epic takedown. I was nursing my morning black coffee on the wraparound porch of the old farmhouse, the one pop built back in '52 with calluses thicker than the oak beams, when the ground shook like an earthquake hit our quiet corner of Fairview County. First, I figured it was just a semi-truck rumbling down the county road, lost on its way to the interstate. But no, there it was, a yellow beast of a bulldozer, blade down, carving straight through my corn rows like they were nothing but weeds in Heather Bramble's perfectly manicured world. By noon, 2 more machines joined the party, flattening what was left of the field where I'd planted heirloom seeds just last spring. I stormed out there in my mud-caked boots, waving my arms like a madman. "Hey, this is private property. Get off my land." The operator in the first dozer popped his head out, sunglasses perched on his nose, and shouted back over the engine roar, "Sorry, bud. Got orders from Fair Hills HOA. This is phase 4 expansion. Luxury homes coming up." Luxury homes? On my farm, I laughed at first, had to be a prank. But then a sleek BMW pulled up, kicking up dust on my gravel drive, and out stepped Heather Bramble herself, president of the Fair Hills Homeowners Association. She was all pastel pantsuit and pearls, clipboard clutched like a shield, her hair sprayed into submission against the slightest breeze. "You must be the groundskeeper," she said, her voice dripping with that fake sweet condescension that makes your teeth ache. "I'm here to oversee the preliminary grading." "Groundskeeper," I echoed, wiping grease from my flannel shirt. "Lady, I own this place." Dalton Hayes. "This farm's been in my family since before your HOA even dreamed of fining people for unmowed lawns." Her nose twitched like she'd smelled something rotten, probably my honest sweat. "Well, according to our records, Mr. Hayes, this parcel has been incorporated into Fair Hills. The county rezoned it for residential development. Construction contracts are signed, sealed, and underway. You really should have attended the community meetings." Community meetings? I'd never heard a peep. No flyers in the mailbox, no knocks on the door, nothing but the occasional neighborhood gossip about how Heather's HOA was turning our sleepy suburb into some gated utopia for tech bros and retirees. But as the dozers kept churning, I felt that first knot of rage twist in my gut. This wasn't just trespassing. This was theft wrapped in bureaucracy. I didn't blow up right away, though. Folks around here had been whispering about me for years, calling me the reclusive hayseed, who didn't play nice with the new developments creeping in from the city. They'd spread rumors that I was anti-progress, maybe even a bit unhinged after losing my wife to cancer a few years back. I let it slide, kept to myself, observed. But now I was watching my legacy get paved over for McMansions. Time to dig in. The next morning, I drove my rusty pickup to the county clerk's office, the one buried in that bland government building where dreams go to die in triplicate. "I need to see the records on my property," I told the clerk, a bored guy named Earl who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. He pulled up the files, and there it was, a rezoning approval stamped fresh as yesterday, a sale agreement with my name scribbled at the bottom, except it wasn't my signature. Looked like a kid practicing cursive. Fake petitions with ghost names, all tying back to Fair Hills HOA and Heather's iron-fisted board. Son of a, I muttered, photocopying everything. Earl leaned over. You ain't the first to get steamrolled by those HOA types. They got friends in high places. Friends, more like puppets. I confronted Heather that afternoon at the site, where she was posing for photos in front of a half-poured foundation, her smile as plastic as her suit. You forged my name. Stole my land. This ends now. She barely glanced up from her phone. Oh, Dalton, darling. You really ought to consult a professional before making accusations. These things are complicated. The community needs growth, and your little farm is holding us back from progress. Progress, right? Like turning fertile soil into concrete slabs was some noble quest. I walked away seething, but patient. She just handed me the rope. Now I'd fashion the noose. By week's end, they'd poured foundations for 3 mansions, with blueprints for 97 more. Sold half to out-of-towners who thought they were buying into exclusive living, code for overpriced boxes with Heather's rules etched in stone. I watched from my porch as these newcomers sipped their organic lattes, oblivious to the fraud under their feet. Rumors flew. That Hayes guy's just bitter. Probably didn't pay his taxes. I smiled inwardly. Let em talk. I was hiring firepower. Enter Reggie Small. My lawyer short guy. Big brains. Office in a strip mall next to a donut shop. This is gold. Dalton, he said, poring over the docs. Title fraud. Forgery. Illegal rezoning. We're suing for everything, including the deeds. We filed that suit like a thunderclap, naming Heather, her VP Todd Kinley, and every board member who'd rubber-stamped this mess. Not just damages, ownership. All of it. Heather's response? A saccharine email blast to the neighborhood. Dear Fair Hills family, a disgruntled former landowner is attempting to disrupt our harmonious community. Rest assured, the board is committed to upholding standards and protecting your investments. Harmonious, try tyrannical. She'd fined one guy $500 for a bird feeder that clashed with aesthetic guidelines. But I stayed quiet, letting Reggie work. 3 weeks later, I left the courthouse with subpoenas stacking like firewood and a restraining order, not on me, on Heather. Turns out she'd sent a bored crony to my door at 2 a.m., pounding like a maniac. Drop the suit, Hayes, or things get unpleasant. He'd slurred, reeking of cheap scotch. The deputy who responded laughed so hard he nearly dropped his notepad. These HOA folks think they're the mafia, he said, parking his cruiser at my drive just to spook any follow-ups. We didn't target Heather first. Started with Lewis Grant, the county zoning commish, a weaselly type with a comb-over and a penchant for donations. Reggie's subpoena unearthed emails. Heather promising him a lakeside lot. Todd offering campaign cash to fast-track approvals. Pure bribery, Reggie grinned. We fed it to the state AG. Boom, DOJ rolls in. Black sedans gleaming like sharks. I sipped coffee on my porch as agents hauled boxes from Heather's temp office in the first mansion. She stood on the lawn, arms crossed, feigning confusion for the news crew. This is a misunderstanding, she trilled to the mic. We're building a better tomorrow. Better for who? Her yacht fund? Reggie froze their assets, no sales, no builds, no dues. The new residents, taped off like crime scenes, weren't thrilled. We paid good money for peace, one whined. Peace? In Heather's dictatorship? But then Rick Holloway showed up, retired colonel, bourbon in hand. Thought you were the crank, Hayes. Turns out you're the hero. We shared a drink as he spilled. He'd rallied neighbors, found a bylaw loophole for a vote. Heather blocked it, claiming procedural sanctity. Sanctity? Like her fake deeds? Rick's JAG buddy cracked it. 1/3 petition forces a meeting. They got signatures overnight. The meeting was comedy gold. Heather in silk and pearls. Slideshow ready. Future visions. Rick blocked the projector. This ain't vision hour, Heather. It's eviction time. Her voice cracked. You can't hijack this. He waved the clipboard. 47 signatures say we can. Vote. 70% dissolve the board. Heather stormed out, heels clicking like castanets. Priceless. DOJ dug deeper. Millions funneled to shell companies, Heather's cousins in Nevada. HOA dues bought cars. Trips. A yacht called Covenant Queen. RS pounced. Reggie expedited our case. Court day. Me in jeans. Heather ankle monitored. Reggie laid it out, forgeries, bribes, fraud. Their lawyer, gel-haired slickster, Mr. Hayes ignored notices. Clerk testified, fake addresses. Judge, ruling for Hayes. Deeds transfer to him. Refer for prosecution. Heather erupted. Theft. Judge. Vacate in 30. Miss Bramble. I owned 100 homes. Didn't evict good faith buyers. Offered fair deals. No HOA nonsense. Auctioned empties for a trust. Bulldozed Heather's mansion myself on the old John Deere. Rick watched. Legendary. If it keeps Karens at bay. Fine. FBI visited wire fraud. Offshore accounts. Fake employee Teresa Langford, Heather's alias for laundering. Story hit national. HOA empire crumbles in fraud scandal. Todd's side hustle. Double-selling lots. Pocketing deposits. One buyer PI'd it. Tipping feds. Town meetings in my barn. Priya suggested co-op. Miguel a park. Elected committee transparent. Voluntary. Healing vibes. Then Chicago lawyers. Investors demanding properties. Reggie. Ponzi victims want refunds. Unmarked van snooping assessors with fraud raps. Sheriff detained. Vultures. Signs up everywhere. Suit guy harassed ones. Vacate for cash. Arrested. Texts to investors. Escalate if needed. Injunction barred interference. FBI found worker exploitation. Undertable pay. Injuries. NDAs. Deportation threats. Jorge testified. Joel probed. Indicted contractors. Jorge got settlement. Residency aid. 6 months. Heather indicted on 16 federals, conspiracy. ID theft. Laundering. Todd nabbed in Arizona with burners and cash. Neighborhood bloomed. Roads paved. Solar lights. Community center from Heather's shell. Garden planted. Fairfield Commons by choice. Quiet reigned. Till DQ letter. Old permit for water rerouting. Never signed. Survey. 2 miles illegal pipes. Toxic reservoir. Arsenic. Solvents dumped. EPA hazmat edit. Evacuations. Trace to Eastline, HOA new. Emails coded reallocation for bribes. Health Department. Toxins caused effects. Priya's baby exposed. Disaster zone declared. Class action. Seized Eastline assets. CEO arrested fleeing. City official Vincent Dorr, bribes via nonprofit. Rated, cash found. Cooperated, network exposed. State audited HOAs, dissolved 3. Indicted more. Fairfield voted. Indy Water. Wetland conversion. HOA ban. Rick retired committee. Priya led. Miguel's mentorship. Jorge installed filters. Plaque. This land stands because someone stood for it. That night. Trees whispering. Crickets humming peace. Land righted. But tell me, folks, in a world where HOAs play God with your backyard, is the real criminal the bully with the bylaws? Or the system that lets them? True or false, power like that always corrupts? Drop your thoughts below.